Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for our Career Connection Women-Owned Businesses. My name is Annie, and I will be your host today. Our Career Connection webinar will be focused on women-owned businesses today. Each month, our Career Connection webinars focus on connecting viewers and clients to employment and educational training opportunities. Prior topics such as women in trades, court reporter training, and much more. Our speakers today will be Jenni-Lyn Williams, founder of Snarky Tea, Janina Rosario of the Small Business Development Center, Erica Dow, the Information Services Supervisor at Manatee County Libraries, Michael Meerman, Director of Thrive at CareerSource Suncoast. We will follow up with questions and answers, and then wrap up and do a survey. All lines are muted, but feel free to comment your questions in the Q&A box, and we will answer them at the end. At the end of the presentation, you will see a survey pop up. If you could take a few moments to give us your feedback, we would greatly appreciate it. So let's get in about the WRC. We've been empowering women in Manatee and Sarasota counties since 1979. Our programs and services are offered at no cost or low cost, and we offer mental health counseling, career services, educational scholarships and programs, legal and financial consultation and education, along with wellness programs. Most programs and services are offered remotely. We have 3 centers, WRC Manatee, Sarasota, and Venice, and we have career closets in our Bradenton and Sarasota locations. At our career closets, we offer free clothing and accessories for women who are attending job interviews or who have just secured a job and need work attire. Our career closets are open on Wednesdays from 11 to 3. Our unique boutique is an upscale resale boutique offering gently worn brand name women's clothing accessories at reasonable prices. We are also on Poshmark, and you can find our online boutique at the unique corner. Our career programs and services. Our career coaching program offers individual one-to-one session with a career coach via Zoom and includes help on topics such as career discovery, resume writing, interview skills, network techniques, and so much more. Our career centers are currently not open, but are used by our clients to conduct online job searches, work on job applications, submissions, and update resumes. Our career closet, as I previously mentioned, offers free clothing accessories to women who are attending jobs or are in need of job attire. And then we also serve clients that may need clothing for any reason. Lastly, we offer workshops and webinars remotely. Our COVID-19 resource page has a plethora of information regarding employment, educational, and health topics. This page is updated every day to include new jobs within the area. If you would like more information regarding our programs and services, please visit our website, www.mywrc.org, or give us a call at 941-256-9721. Now I'm thrilled to introduce you to today's first presenter, Jenni-Lyn Williams, who will be speaking to us about her personal journey as a successful entrepreneur. Over to you, Jenny.
Hi, thank you so much for the introduction. Successful entrepreneur, that's a very, you're making some assumptions there. I am an entrepreneur, however. My name is Jenni-Lyn Williams, and I am the Chief Snark Officer, that's what I call myself, of Snarky Tea. I put this picture on the first slide because most people are interested solely in my experience on Shark Tank. I'll be tapping into that, but I'm also going to talk about how and why I started the business, and give you guys some tactical tips of things that I've learned along the way that I feel are important. So an introduction to our company, as you guys can see from this photo, we make whole leaf teas and we make them with sass. So one of our blends, our best-selling blend here is the Calm the Bleep Down blend. And our original line is much of the same tone. Instead of an English breakfast, it's Wake the Bleep Up. Instead of a ginger tea, it's Get Your S Together, and so on. So that original line was founded in October of 2016. So we are now in our 5th year of business. And we are an e-commerce direct-to-consumer company. That basically means that we are an online store. We ship all of our products and from your orders through our website from our warehouse in Southwest Florida. And this is the part that I'm going to go into the first year of business for us. And I just want to put a little warning out there that this is very atypical for a starting entrepreneur. There was a lot of luck and just timing involved in the first year. And so do not expect this to be the typical experience of an entrepreneur, because it's definitely not. But as I mentioned, we started in October, and December of that year, we were contacted by Vogue magazine to appear in their holiday gift guide, which was an amazing opportunity, especially just starting out. And because of that placement, the Oscars saw us and asked us to be part of a gifting lounge in Los Angeles for the Oscars in February of 2017. So just about 4 months into business, we were already had these two major events under our belt. And again, when I say we, at that point, it was really just me. And my husband was tagging along because, of course, I needed someone to help set up the displays. At the Oscars event, I had a really interesting conversation with Randy Jackson, who was from American Idol. He was one of the judges. And he told me, "You have to apply for Shark Tank." And I said that there was absolutely no way that Shark Tank would take our product because of the language involved. And I kind of had resigned to that in the beginning, and was surprised at all the opportunities we were getting, which just goes to show more people use swear words than you probably know. But he kind of encouraged me to do it. He said, "You need to apply. You have to do it. I know people at ABC. I know they'll put this on." So I went home and I applied, just kind of taking his advice. And in June of 2017, we actually filmed for the show, and then it aired in November of that year. So obviously not a typical first year of business. This is not, do not say I am not a success, because these things have not happened to me in the first year. It's a very atypical journey. We did actually get two deals on Shark Tank, one with Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, and one with Bethany Frankel from the Skinny Girl Empire and Real Housewives of New York. So after the show, we worked on a wellness line, which is a lot of teas that are more supplemental for health purposes. We have detoxes. We're launching a skin blend. And then, of course, 2020 hit. And for a lot of small businesses, that was a disastrous situation. But for e-commerce, direct to consumer, there was a lot of opportunity that was there. It basically accelerated online shopping. We had more growth than we've ever seen. In 2020, we grew 200% as a company, and we've seen that with a lot of direct to consumer companies. Again, it was just right place, right time for us. We had to move into 2 new facilities last year to kind of pace up with the growth. We actually ended up acquiring another company called Brew, BRUW. And that's basically a filter that you can make cold brews with. And we're going to be using that this year as we shift focus into launching cold brew teas, because the United States loves iced tea. So if you guys are iced tea lovers, look out this year. April of this year, we'll be launching some really delicious iced teas. So we can go to the next slide here. And this slide really talks about why I started Snarky Tea, kind of the story behind it. And I think it's important to talk about, because I know it resonates with a lot of people, that Snarky Tea was spurred as a need for change in my life. I was a new mom at the time. I had just given birth to our first daughter, and I was a full-time employee at a Fortune 500 insurance company. I don't know if you can tell probably from the first couple of minutes of talking to me, I'm not really an insurance person. So it was kind of a little bit boring and mundane, but I was succeeding there. And they had put me into an accelerated MBA course with the local university, Villanova University. So a lot of that was time consuming. I felt like I was bumping up against a wall. I was banging my head on a lot of walls and not getting a lot of sleep. And eventually that stress started to manifest itself physically. So I went to a doctor and talked to her about, I was having heart palpitations. I wasn't sleeping well and I was exhausted. I didn't understand what was going on. And she was a really great doctor, because she sat me down and talked to me about my life, like what was going on with me. And basically she told me I need to make a lot of changes, both, with what I was consuming, as much as far as caffeine is concerned. I was drinking like 6 or 7 cups of coffee and intermittent Red Bulls in there sprinkled in. So she told me I definitely need to cut back on that. And that, a lot of the things that I was doing, of course I was under stress because of the way that I was kind of running my life at that moment. At the same time, again, just a timing situation, I had a project at school that was for a marketing plan, you had to launch your own brand, basically. So I went into work the day after the doctor's appointment, and I was thinking about a lot of the things that the doctor said. And I went to go order my tea for the first time ever. And I was looking at the options that were there. And I'm a go, go, go person, high energy. I've got a lot to do. Now I have 3 kids. So, of course, I'm even more go, go, go than ever. Um, but I was looking at the options, and it was, hibiscus rose and orange lavender. And I just looked at the coffee bar barista and I said, if you had one called Wake the F Up, I would know exactly which one to order right now. Feeling a little bit frustrated, but also kind of using my humor to kind of deal with the frustration. And she and I both laughed, and she said, you know what? That's not a bad idea. So I sat down at my desk and I basically was like, okay, that would be really funny for my MBA program project. I wanted to stand out, and it was a competition. And I was like, this is a really great way for me to do this. So I drew out a business plan for this Snarky tea line. And of course, because of that and because of everything that was going on in my life, I actually started ordering teas online and figuring out, okay, I actually drew up the main 6 names right there that day at my desk. And I started thinking about what was the main ingredient in this? How's this going to work? So I started ordering teas. I started drinking more teas, and I started to notice that there was definitely a change in me. And I presented it to the class, and my marketing professor sat me down and said, you have to do something with this. So now we'll get into the how, right? So now I've got this idea, and I can tell you after presenting to Shark Tank that the hardest pitch of my life was sitting my husband down and saying, I'm going to quit my high paying career job and I'm going to launch a lines of profanity teas. And he basically looked at me and said, you're insane. So I actually took the letter that I got from my marketing professor and I said, this is the email from him. I won the competition. People love it. People see it and they laugh and they relate to the story behind it. And finally he said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do some more work here. So I know when you guys are looking at how do I start a business, there's a lot of questions and you've probably already Googled a lot of them. So I'm going to skip some of the small talk and go into the inner work that I did on this journey of launching a business. So the first thing I recommend to people is really understanding yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? For me, my strengths were always marketing and sales. That's what I was always good at. My weaknesses were finances and practicality, which my husband is good at, but he already had a job. So he couldn't really stop to help me too much. And you guys will hear from a lot of great people after I present on what are those resources that are available to you to help supplement your weaknesses. Where can you get help on financial training? What books should you read? And you definitely have to supplement them because as an entrepreneur, you are everything all at once, right? You are marketing, you are sales, you are finance, you're everything. And even if you're not good at some of them, you've got to learn to, to figure that out and be at least okay at it until you can afford to hire somebody who's better at it than you are. And then ultimately, you have to figure out what is that you want to get out of it. There are a lot of people that think, oh, you're starting a business. Why? You want more money? And that's not always the case, right? And it's not always the reality either. For me, it was about work-life balance and having a creative outlet that I never had before. I wanted to spend time with my child. I wanted to do something more creative than insurance pamphlets. So those were the fulfillments that I needed more so than the income side of it. Of course, the income is great now, 5 years down the line, but at the beginning, it wasn't. So you need to figure out what it is you want to get out of it because there's going to be hard days and you need to sit down and make sure that ultimately the things that fulfill you are, that you're getting it through this business. Because if you aren't, then you need to make changes. I always tell people do the research, but don't freak yourself out. Do research, but not too much research, right? You don't want to go onto somebody's website, go onto 1,000 websites, because then in your brain, you're like, look at all this stuff everyone else has done and I haven't done anything. I suck. I'm not even going to start. So I'm really good at closing off my blinders, looking at what I need to see and then shutting back down and focusing on what I'm doing. Stay on your path, learn from other people, learn, but don't freak yourself out. You're comparing your day one to somebody's day 1,000, and that's not the same. And then ultimately, the more tactical stuff, private labeling. A lot of people are like, Jenni-Lyn, how do you come up with these products? How do you make an Nalgene bottle? Are you putting them in your living room? Are you blending the teas in your garage? No, I'm not doing any of that. A lot of this is done through private label. And in most industries, you are able to connect with private labelers. And basically what they do is they already have the knowledge that you don't have coming into a new business. And they're going to say, Jenni-Lyn, we know what you want to do. Let's help you get it done. And again, if that's across the board, that's in plastics, moldings, even in service-based businesses, you can find people who will consult with you and assist you in that way. Be smart with who you're seeking out. Make sure they understand the messaging that you want to do. Make sure they're behind it 100%. And then, use their help to get started. Um, and ultimately, like, the most important thing to understand when you're starting a business is you will not know everything. You're not supposed to. None of us do. I know people who are running $100 million businesses who still get on the phone and say, like, does anybody know how to do this? Because I don't. So it's very important to understand that from the first day, you are going to know basically nothing. And that's okay. None of us do. Ask the questions. Don't be too proud to say, like, private label, what even is that? I mean, I literally started this company by Googling how to start a tea company and went from there. So, just do execution each strategy for breakfast. That's one of my favorite quotes because it's more doing in business than it is, you can strategize till you're blue in the face. But again, don't freak yourself out. Don't overthink it. Do it, think, do it, think. It's sort of like, a little toggle. So my practical tips for success, which are things that I personally um, have for you guys. I always tell people to create something that sets their soul on fire. You should be the super annoying person at every family dinner that won't shut up about what you're doing. If you're not excited about what you're doing, why would other people be? I had people at the beginning of this saying, like, you need to take the language off this. It's never going to sell. And I would say, I know it will. I know it is. I know it will. People love this. Like, I show it to people and people laugh. So there's a lot of instinct involved. Of course, don't let that instinct overwhelm you. I think a lot of entrepreneurs learn things the hard way. I wish I wasn't like that. But yeah, you have to be passionate about it. If you're not passionate about it, no one else will be. And then go in from day one, all in, right? You haven't sold anything yet. So, oh, well, you have a logo, you have a website, you have social media sites, connect with people, get started, be serious from day one. If you're not serious, no one will take you seriously. I would answer the phone as my assistant in the beginning days. When Vogue called, I didn't say, hi, this is Jenni-Lyn Williams. I said, hello, Snarky T. And they said, can we speak to Jenni-Lyn Williams? And I said, hold on a second, I'll get her for you. Hi, Jenni-Lyn Williams, so, if you can do that, nobody knows. If your website's very serious, they won't know if you sold one product or if you sold 1,000 of them, but you want them to trust you. You want them to know that you're serious. So behave seriously from day one. Understand sales funnels. That is a scary word. It's a fancy word for how to sell stuff. Bring people in and keep them there. Facebook ads is how I built my business. I didn't know how to use it from the beginning. It's a lot of YouTube videos. It's a lot of joining groups and learning from people who know how to do it. But running traffic to your website if you're going to be e-commerce, running foot traffic to your store if you're going to be an in-person. How do you run traffic? Understand that. Really know how to do it and get creative with it. If it doesn't work the first time, tweak it. Do it again. Make sure that your contact information that you're getting from people is being stored somewhere. Do not throw away emails. Every person that comes in the door, when you're bringing them in, it costs you $8 to bring them in. They place a $30 order. You just made $32. You send them an email for free. They place another $30 order. Now you've made $60, and it compacts from there when you're actually talking about repeat customers. So sales funnels, Google it, learn it, know it. Cash is king. That one's pretty self-explanatory. That's a hard lesson that I had to learn too. You want to spend all this money. These people that I'm buying these products from to sell to people, they want cash. My people are getting paid in cash. So you have to be really good at cash management. Know what your financial position is at every time. Know what your margins are. Know what you can afford to spend on marketing. Know those numbers. Don't go blindly into spending money. That's the one area you really can't go blind with. And then you can actually flip to the next slide. This is my last slide. And the quote here is, don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. I say this all the time to people because what they think my life is like is on the left. I'm here with celebrities. I'm hugging celebrities on TV. I'm at the Oscars holding a real Oscar. Here I am representing my business school. They've partnered with me on a lot of things. I'm on Megatrons at sports events. And people are like, wow, it's so glamorous. But in actuality, and why I started this business is because of the stuff up top, the reality of it. I have 3 little kids. I'm actually texting with my babysitter right now saying, please don't let them come upstairs. Like, I'm in the middle of doing something very important. I usually, when I would have my children, they'd be strapped to me while I was emailing people about very important things. So, don't let the expectation or my story, over glamorize what running a business is, because it's not really that glamorous, but it is so worth it. It's fulfilling. I control my schedule. I get to find out what fulfills me and I get to do those things harder, right? So that's basically my presentation. It's a lot of tactical stuff. It's a lot of, again, don't compare your first year to my first year because it was a wild ride. And good luck, guys. It is worth it in the long run. And if you're passionate about something, my recommendation is go for it. So I am done, and I'm going to pass it off to Janina from the Small Business Development Center.
Thank you, Jenni-Lyn, and congratulations on your 5-year journey and for sharing really good, real tips with our audience today. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Janina Rosario, and I am an Associate Director with the Florida Small Business Development Center, SBDC, at USF. We are actually an organization that is partially funded by the Small Business Administration. We are not the SBA. We are one arm of service providers to work with entrepreneurs throughout the nation. As part of the SBA, we get to work with small businesses as defined by the administration. So we're talking about that mom and pop, that solopreneur, gig economy kind of individual, all the way to companies that perhaps have hundreds of employees and millions of dollars in sales. So it is a wonderful opportunity for us to see stories of that hard work, that dedication, and the many times that entrepreneurs do question, am I going in the right direction? As the Florida network of SBDCs, we cover every single county there is in the state of Florida. As I mentioned, our region is the USF region, and we have been around providing services for over 40 years. In this map, you can see in more detail where our offices can be found. Of course, in the year of COVID, and I guess COVID part 2 in 2021, we continue to work remotely. So although we do have had physical presence in Manatee and Sarasota counties, we are currently working remotely. So you will see that everything will lead you to our website, because we want to make sure that we pair you with the right consultant, not limited by geography, but actually looking at what you're looking for and how we can assist you. All of our services are provided to you in confidentiality, and our core services could be defined as training, information, market research that Jenni-Lyn so mentioned, special services, and no-cost confidential consulting. As you can see, in our region, we cover Hillsborough, Pinellas, Manatee, Sarasota, Hernando, Pasco, Polk, Hardee, DeSoto, and Highlands counties. So it's quite a large region that we cover from for us. However, we have over 20 consultants available to work with entrepreneurs in our region. Starting with training, we are currently providing no-cost webinars. These are 1-hour webinars in different business topics, more than 300 in a year. So I encourage you and invite you to take advantage of this opportunity where you can watch either live or on demand by visiting our website. The market research that Jenni-Lyn mentioned, and I agree so much with her. I actually have a client that kept coming back. I need more research. I need more research, because they couldn't take that next step to actually act upon the information that they had, until one day I said, enough is enough. And they took the step, and they have been around doing business and growing their business now for a number of years. So we're happy to assist in providing research and providing you information, but it is also our responsibility to say, you know what, it's time to take the next step. So you need to take action. Others, once the business is established and it has been around for a little while, we also provide other services, and this is what we call special services or specialized services, like the turbocharge any team, expert marketing plans to help companies grow beyond Florida borders or beyond US borders and go internationally. Profit mastery, numbers, they can be scary. And organizations like ours and so many other resources in our community, we are here to support you and to support this entrepreneurial journey that you're in. Growth acceleration to help those established companies reach that next milestone, break that ceiling, go from one level of sales to the next, making sure that they take a very close and deep look into their company and how things are being done. And of course, we have a lot of entrepreneurs who are interested in doing business with the federal government, and we are happy to assist with that service. We cannot deny that we are in Florida and sometimes disasters do occur. Mostly we know of our hurricanes, but definitely COVID has been one of those major disasters in our history. So the Florida SBDC network works together with the state of Florida government in providing support to entrepreneurs to make sure that those businesses have a fighting chance to come back. Over 40% of small businesses do not come back after a disaster. So we want to make sure that we are, again, a resource to help those businesses come back, because when we have our communities with thriving businesses, we have employment, we have tax dollars at work, and we have valuable communities. Our consulting, this is our bread and butter. This is where we spend most of our time providing no cost, confidential consulting in multiple areas to support our businesses. And as I use the word businesses, I'm also referring to you today, the next entrepreneur, the entrepreneur within you that is looking at how do I take that next step? Well, again, we can help you and explore what are the options and what are those steps that you need to take. So through our consulting, we assist with the startup process and taking a holistic look, because it's not just what are those steps that you have to take in registering or securing numbers or the very mechanical pieces of it, but also what about cash? How much do you have? How much do you need? Are you doing projections? What are your projections saying? In a world where a lot of the transactions are happening online, cybersecurity should be part of that conversation from the beginning. So we want to make sure that we look at your enterprise, your future business from all possible aspects, and then design a plan of action along with you. The initial steps, midterm, and long-term steps. As I mentioned, our consulting is provided at no cost. We advocate for you, and we work primarily with for-profit businesses. That's how the Small Business Development Center was created by Congress over 40 years ago. And we utilize professional consultants with practical and theoretical business management experience. As I mentioned, we're driving all of the traffic through our website to make sure that we respond to your inquiries in a timely manner. Our consultants, just so you understand who you might work with, who might work with you, we have hands-on business experience. Our consultants have at a minimum a bachelor's degree in a business or related field. We must complete third-party certifications as part of our employment with the Florida SBDC at USF, and then continued education and professional development of 20 hours, at least 20 hours per year. I can tell you 2021 represents my 20th year in providing business technical assistance to small businesses, my 10th with the Small Business Development Center, and there are no two equal days. It's wonderful to meet entrepreneurs on a regular basis and be able to answer that burning question, be able to find that one resource that makes a difference. And we take great pleasure in assisting you achieve those goals. Why we do this is because of the economic impact that small businesses represent to our community, to the state, to the nation. So obviously we want to see you grow your sales, continue to strengthen your business so that you access more capital or perhaps hire more people. Perhaps if government contracting is down the line for you, assist you in going after those contracts. And because we receive public funds, we have to respond as to how our work is generating impact in our community, and this is how we get measured. Just a little bit more about who is working with us. Who do we have the pleasure to work with? As you can see, about 46% of our clients are female, 16% are veterans in disabled veterans, and about 46% are minorities. So it's quite a diverse group of clients that we work with. And as far as industries, it's all over the place. Our mission is to provide businesses with the expertise and resources needed to succeed. And by doing so, we are creating a better Florida for all by helping businesses grow. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you this morning and share a little bit more about what the SBDC is and how we look forward to working with you. We are very active on social media, so I invite you to search for us. Like I said, please visit our website. Right there, you can register for the free webinars that we are providing. You can watch webinars on demand, and you can request to meet with one of our consultants to help you in your entrepreneurial journey. I invite you to do so. I look forward to meeting many of you. And now, for more resources available for you, I would like to introduce you to Erica Dow with Manatee Libraries.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Janina, and for all that SBDC does. It sounds like just great programs that you have. I'd like to thank the Women's Resource Center for asking the library to participate today to talk about the resources that we have, and they are certainly more probably research oriented, has been mentioned a couple times already. First of all, I want to ask if everyone can hear me okay. And then I am getting some notices from my network that we're having a network slowdown. So hopefully I don't freeze up on you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And so now hopefully you are seeing my slides. Very good. So again, my name is Erica Dow. I'm Supervisor of Information Services for Manatee Libraries. Very happy to be here today. So just a few of the things that I'm going to touch on as far as the library's business resources. We do have a business resources video tutorial. We maintain a small business resources guide, which includes listings of library subscription databases. One of those is Mergent Intellect. I'm going to try and take you for a quick spin through Mergent, as well as, of course, magazines, books, and ebooks. So I did include this slide in the presentation because I know WRC is going to provide our slides to you afterwards. So you can come back to that. There's also a direct link, which may also be provided to you in a separate email. I'm not going to show this tutorial. It is over 19 minutes long, but I wanted to point it out to you first to make sure that you knew it was available, because I am going to be going pretty quickly over some of the resources that we have, which are featured in this video tutorial. It's a step-by-step detailed instruction. And in addition, we have user guides that will be provided to you. So if I seem to be going a little fast, please rest assured that you will be able to come back and watch these tutorials and look at some user guides as well. So the Small Business Resources Guide that we maintain, it's maintained by Information Services staff here at the library. It's going to be included in your handouts. It lists local, state, national resources. It includes information about the library's business-related print collections. Some of the local resources that we point to include SBDC, as they were here today. As you can tell, they have a lot of great resources for you. Others such as Minnesota SCORE, Chambers of Commerce, and also Manatee County's Redevelopment and Economic Opportunity Department. We call them REO internally. And also co-working options and more. So that's kind of a basic guide to just getting started. It's also accessible online, as you can see with the link there. And we've also got on that guide information about our ebook collections, which you can get through some of our apps such as Hoopla and Overdrive, and the databases that the library subscribes to. And these are some of those databases. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go demo all of them, but I did want to include them here. So, or you can also look on the guide. They will be listed there as well. And these are some places where you can do some of that market research. I know Jenni-Lyn was saying earlier, you don't want to get too stuck in that, but at some point you do have to do some research or have someone do some for you. And these are good resources for that. One of the ones, a couple of the ones I want to mention, something about Entrepreneurship Center. The reason I like this one is because of the way that it's laid out. And I'll just show you very quickly. Hopefully my network holds up. And so this is one of the databases. You can, do a search for topics you're interested in, look at some of the suggested topics. What I like about it is how it's organized. So it's the different phases of your business planning, from planning, funding, starting, and managing a business. It includes some business plan templates. You can search by the particular type of business that you're interested in, maybe getting started, and then you'll have some templates ready to go for you. And then the other one that I wanted to point out on this list just for a moment is lynda.com. Some of you have probably heard of lynda.com. You can actually get in there with, you do have to have a library card to access. And if you do have a library card, you can access this from home or work. But anyway, some of you have probably heard of lynda.com. You can subscribe for an individual subscription. I think it's like $20, $30 a month, depending on the plan that you get, if you are an individual subscriber. And so that can add up. The library system, we have an organizational subscription. So with your library card, you can log in, use Lynda. We provide that to our resident card holders free of charge. And as you can see, there's different what they call learning paths, which are several courses in a particular area. Become a small business owner, become a content strategist, become a graphic designer. So this is great for business, but it's also great for if there's a particular career path or field that you feel like you need to enhance your skill building in. You can do all kinds of stuff. If there's a particular type of software that you want to learn, Lynda is definitely going to have a course on it. So you can see here that there are some different, many different categories. So this is a little more towards the, project management, business, technical, and design. And then also with Lynda, you can upload certificates of completion to your LinkedIn profile. Lynda is actually owned by LinkedIn, so it makes it easy. So I just wanted to show you that one really quickly. I actually want to spend a little bit more time talking about Mergent Intellect. It's our most content-rich database, which we offer for business and market research. Its data comes from Dun & Bradstreet, Hoover's, Nielsen, and more. And it lists public and private companies. You can access Mergent and other databases that we have from home or work with a Manatee library card or from a computer at any of our library locations. So some of the things that Mergent Intellect contains, the business and executive search, and this is for corporations nationally, globally, includes sales volume, number of employees, executive details, contact info, corporate headquarters, recent news. You can build and export custom searches, so you can actually create your own kind of like spreadsheets with data that you're interested in. And I'm going to do a quick spin in a moment. I'll demo that. First, research industry reports includes up-to-date trends, statistics, growth projections, news, and analysis by industry. So if you want to do a little bit more research on the industry that you're interested in, that's a good module to use. Key business ratios. I know it's been mentioned already this morning about kind of more of the mathematical stuff. That's not really my strong suit. It is an advanced function, but if yourself, you have a business mentor, accountant, somebody who wants to work with you with the key business ratios, that can help examine risk and measure how your business stacks up amongst competitors. Probably what would be of a lot of interest to a lot of people here today would be the consumer data and demographics. That offers data on individuals' lifestyles, their purchasing habits, their hobbies. That can be used for directed targeted marketing and customer retention. And demographics, which comes from census data and Nielsen reports. So there's also some really neat market segmentation reports that you can customize and get out of the consumer data through Mergent Intellect. And then residential and local business search is good for creating quick mailing lists for local listings, look up phone numbers and addresses. So I'm going to get into a little bit of a quick demo of Mergent. And normally, if you are doing this from work or home, at this point, you'd have to log in with your library card number, but I'm actually in the library, so I don't have to do that. And this is what Mergent looks like. So some of those things that I mentioned, residential search, key business ratios, demographics, first research are here. I'm actually just going to do a couple of advanced searches really quick just to show you what that looks like. I'm going to be going really fast. So I don't want you to worry because it is, again, in that video tutorial that we provided, as well as here on the Learning Center. They've got help guides, how-to videos, all kinds of stuff to show you how to do these searches again. So if you were looking for some information just about a major corporation, you could do just a business search at the top here. So I'm searching for Airbnb. You'll see that it's starting to give me suggestions. So I'm just going to click on Airbnb and say, yeah, I want to go and find out more about them. It'll give a company overview. It'll list some recent news about that company, some key information, headquarter information. It also lists jobs. So you can use Mergent for job searching as well. If there's a large corporation you're interested in seeing what kind of jobs they're hiring for, they do have these, and these are powered by Indeed. Some other cool things about these company records, executive details. If you want to see who's the CEO, who's the president, you want to reach out to these people, tell them about your product or service, you can certainly find out who that is. Family tree. For Airbnb, anytime you see one of these little blue arrows, you can click on it. It'll expand the column. For Airbnb, the list isn't as long, but these are all the sub companies that they own. Obviously, if you were going to search for something like Disney, Amazon, huge list, you're just going to be scrolling and scrolling. It's pretty amazing. But that's, if you want to find out, what sub companies a large corporation owns, you can do that through here. One more thing that's cool about the large corporate listings is the competitors list. So this is what Mergent has decided are the top competitors for somebody like, for a corporation like Airbnb. So that's kind of a neat comparison tool. So that's just a real quick corporate search. If you were to want to say, search for some companies locally that you want to make a call list, you've got a product or service that you want to talk to them about, see if they'd be interested in purchasing from you, you can make in a custom list. There's all kinds of different criteria that you can go with: minority owned, women owned. There's this neat function here called geomapping, which, I'm not going to demo the whole thing because it'll take a minute, but basically, if you don't know exactly what zips you want to use, you can just drop pins and say, this is the area I want to look at, and then add it to your criteria. You can also do location by whatever specific information you want, city, county. Radius search is kind of similar to the other that I just showed, the geomapping, and you can choose a zip, 3 miles radius. I'm going to add this to my criteria and to say that that's where I want to focus my search on. You can see down here, it's starting to build a custom list. So I want to add one more thing. So let's say I've got a product that I want to see if some local pet grooming companies would like to buy from me. So I want to make a call list. Most of us, you can do this by industry. Most of us don't know the SIC codes and NAIT codes for most industries. What I really like to use most often is the keyword search. So I'm just going to look for pet. I'm getting carpet, I'm getting petroleum, I'm put a space. So I'm getting my pet. That's what I want. I want pet care. So like a pet grooming company, and I'm going to add that to my criteria. And you can see now we're down to 11 companies. So it makes it a much more manageable list. I'm going to go ahead and search for those companies. It'll show you their sales volume. You can click on each one to get more information as far as their contact information, their address, but you can also output that into a file. You can export the whole thing. You can build a file. I like to build custom files. If you do this, I do this every time. It's telling me you got to select at least one company. So I'm actually going to go here and select all. And then I'm going to go back to build files. And you can see it's listed all of these different fields that you can have. It's going to output into like a spreadsheet. I generally don't want all of that. So I click choose fields. And in this case, I just kind of want the company's name and the phone number because I want to make a call list. You're going to enter your file name. And of course, my network's a little slow, so it just takes a few seconds. Then you can download your file. It's going to download into an Excel. I won't do that at this moment, or you can email it to yourself or someone else who helps you do this. So that's one way that you can kind of build a list of companies. Just real quickly, it's very similar under consumer data. So consumer data is going to be information that's coming from I just lost my screen. Excuse me. Sorry, guys, I just lost my okay, well, I took too much time doing that. So anyway, consumer data is going to come from things like people's mail order catalogs they receive, magazines, other publicly available data. And so very similar to how we did that other advanced search, you can actually build files that's going to create a Excel spreadsheet, which you can use for mail merge. If you've got somebody who does marketing, if you're doing direct mail, you can use that consumer data to build those files. So now I'm going to minimize that. And then just a couple other things that we have. We've got magazines available in print and or electronically via our resources. These are just a few of recent articles, kind of very similar to how Jenni-Lyn was talking earlier about kind of taking a passion and taking the right steps to make that into a profitable business. This top article from Passion to Profit actually profiles 5 women entrepreneurs, and that's in Real Simple magazine, and kind of very similarly talks about the steps they took to make a successful business. And then of course we have books. We're a library, we have lots and lots of books. There will be a book list in your handouts, some practical guides, some things to motivate you. We also have a service called Next Reads. You can get book lists and different topics sent straight to your inbox. You just sign up for that. We do have a business and personal finance one that you can sign up for. And if you do not have a library card yet, you can apply for one at any of our locations. We also have where you can go online and get a temporary online card to access our online resources for 90 days. The only thing I believe that's not available is lynda.com. On that particular temporary card, you will have to come in to get a full card in order to access that one right away. So with that, that's my presentation today. Please do get in touch with us if you have any questions, need to know how to use these resources. We're here for you and we're happy to help. So thank you very much. And now to introduce the next speaker, Michael Meerman with CareerSource Suncoast Thrive.
Hey, thank you, Erica. I really appreciate that. And I want to offer my thanks to the Women's Resource Center for including us today in the program. I have no slide deck today, but the information that I'm going to share with you and the content will come to you after this program via various links that connect you to us. I want to say to you that Thrive is a program where technical meets the practical. So many of us as entrepreneurs don't know where we're going. How do we get started? We're scared, we're afraid. We're afraid we're going to make mistakes. We don't know the legal issues. We don't know the financial issues, and that's all good. I think Jenni-Lyn said it best. You got to have passion and just get going. And that's what we do here at Thrive is we help you get going. We help you overcome the technical things and focus on the practical things. Thrive is a regional business accelerator. We operate here along the Suncoast. We're part of CareerSource. And what we do here is we provide you with a cost-free opportunity to get engaged in developing yourself to become an entrepreneur. And when I say develop yourself, that's the difference in what we do compared to many of the awesome entrepreneurial resources that are available here in the region. We focus on you as an individual and less on your business. Yes, we provide business consulting activity for you. We give you all kinds of great advice, direction. We connect you with subject matter experts. We bring them in-house. But more importantly, we develop you to become a successful entrepreneur. We like to tell everybody there's no magic here, just a bunch of awesome sauce. And in fact, our members come to us regularly and they'll say, Michael, I need a bottle of that awesome sauce. I'm having one of those weeks. And that's really what we do here is we teach you bootstrapping. And for those of you who don't understand the concept of bootstrapping, what we're talking about is the idea of starting from scratch with nothing and going from nothing to everything. And if you say, well, I can't do that, or I'm afraid, or I don't know how, that's why we exist. Look, we've had several folks in our program make tremendous progress in their lives over the last couple of years just by becoming part of what we have to offer you. You know, we tell folks you don't know what you need to know until you need to know it. And so if you can start practicing and developing a curriculum of knowledge, a knowledge base that you can put to use when that day comes, you'll be way better off. You know, women in the United States start over 1,500 businesses every single day of the year. Those are statistics that are coming out from government entities. Here at Thrive, in the last 2 years, we've helped over 150 different entrepreneurs get their businesses going. 70% of those 150 were female-owned businesses. We are a business accelerator, but I must tell you, we work primarily with solopreneurs, entrepreneurs who are in a startup mode. Yes, we have second stage clients and we have mature businesses as well. And what we do with those mature businesses mostly is help them formulate an exit strategy, how to get out of what they've been doing, how to make a buck and sell out and cash in. So we work with entry level, second stage, and exit. You don't have to know a whole lot about anything other than to have the passion to get started, the ability to face failure and get up and do it again. We are a membership-based organization. Again, CareerSource Suncoast is a not-for-profit, and our service to you is at no cost. Our training and development programs are very robust. We have weekly workshops that you can just drop in on. And because we're not meeting in the office these days, everything is delivered. All of our education is delivered remotely. We call it distance learning. And we've got several distance learning programs available, up and running right now, and more in the offering. For those of you that have time constraints on your day, we also do things in the evening. So we have daytime programs and evening programs. One of our upcoming programs that will begin in the month of March is our CEO program. The CEO program is a program that is in conjunction with the city of Sarasota, and that will begin on March the 23rd. It runs for 10 consecutive weeks, and it is, again, at no charge to you. That program will give you the basics of entrepreneurship over a course of 10 weeks. In addition to that, we have a similar offering during the day. We have a 24/7 available online tutorial program that you can access. And then when you complete that program, you'll end up with a full-fledged business plan, something that you can take to the bank, something that you can take to prospective partners, or in most cases, you're just going to use that business plan to keep yourself on track. And that's a really key and critical part of being successful in business, is having a plan, knowing where you're going to go with that. I know we're short on time today and we're approaching the top of the new hour, and I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to ask questions to all the panelists today. So I'm going to cut that short right now, but be rest assured that you can contact myself, my peers, get involved in our programming by using the links that will be provided to you after today. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Michael. And thank you so much to Erica, Yanina, Jenny, for your wonderful presentations. We appreciate your time. If you would like more information, here's the presenter's contact information. We have Jenni-Lyn, Erica Dow, Michael Meerman, and for more information about the Small Business Development Center, you can go to visit their website. And then the scholarship and career programs. If you're interested in any of our careers or programs that we offer, you can give us a call or you can visit our website. Now we're going to move over to the Q&A box. Let's see here. Let's see. If you guys have any questions, feel free to list them on the Q&A box and we'll answer them now. Lisa says, thanks so much to WRC and all the panelists. Great info and insight. Thank you so much, Lisa, for attending today. Naomi says, thank you, each of you, for your presentations. Very thoughtful, inspiring, and appreciated. Thank you so much, Naomi. Let's see here. Okay. Erica, Phyllis asked, is this database available in the Sarasota libraries? Oh, I don't know.
I've been answering in the Q&A. I don't believe that they have lynda.com. I think that's the one that they're asking about. And I think somebody else asked about Mergent. They do have to have a library card to access that from home or work. They can come into our locations and use any of those. But they can, to use Mergent, they can apply online and use it for up to 90 days. But Lynda, they'll have to come in, it's a licensing thing with that vendor.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Shantiri says, I am so appreciative of the opportunity to be a part of this session. I learned so much. Thank you. And thank you so much, Shantiri, for joining. Monica says, I read about the option of getting a certification for a women-owned business. What is this? How is it helpful? What certification, Monica? I think we need a little bit more information regarding that.
I think I can help you with that question. You know, there are certifications, meaning that you're certifying that you are a female-owned business, and therefore that qualifies you as a minority-owned business. And when you have a minority-owned, female-owned status, that qualifies you for other opportunities that competing businesses won't be able to apply for. Could be a government contract or something along those lines. Definitely worth pursuing.
Awesome. Nicole asked, do you need good credit to get a small business loan?
The answer is yes. Does that mean you can't get a loan if your personal credit isn't the best? No, it doesn't mean that. But chances are, when you're getting started, if you're going to want to borrow money, any lender is going to take a look at your personal history first. There are several lenders here in the region that are working with small startup businesses, and they'd be happy to take a risk on you in very small amounts. But I'd like to encourage everybody not to go into debt to go into business. You can do this and you can bootstrap your way into it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. I started my LLC less than a year ago and having a hard time finding lending for a young company. What would you suggest?
Is that for Michael or for me?
That can be for anyone, any of the panelists.
Yeah. Well, Michael has been very clear, and I agree with him. You have to learn how to bootstrap. But in order to bootstrap, you have to take a step back, and it is to work on those numbers, make that forecast, that financial forecast. How much have you spent? How much do you need to continue to spend in order to get you to the next level? And where will that money come from? Lending is sometimes tricky, and though not impossible, sometimes it does require a lot of work and patience on everybody's part. So reach out to resources like Thrive, reach out to resources like ours. We're here to support you at no cost to you. And each case is going to be different. So it's hard to just give you one firm answer because we need to understand a little bit more about the background.
Wonderful. Maureen asks, is there specific information on paying employees, developing a 1099, and pay employment taxes? Any insight on that?
Well, there's all kinds of accounting and financial help out there. There's all sorts of software packages out there. So it's in a general sense, yes, there is specific information out there. It all comes down to how much money do you want to spend? What are your internal resources? What do you have going on today?
And I recommend
Like if you're
QuickBooks
using-
for that, by the way.
Yeah, I was just going to
That's what I
say,
use.
if you use QuickBooks, a lot of times, or another accounting package, it'll crank that out for you.
Awesome. Lisa asks, Michael mentioned the Thrive program is by membership. Can you talk a little more about how it works and how it's structured?
Sure. We call it membership because it's a collective of like-minded people. It's a closed group. Once you're a member, what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. We keep it so that it's fun, it's light, it's practical, but at the same time, it's very real. And so we liken it to members. If you're not a member, you can't participate in our programs. But once you're in, you're in. It's as simple as contacting us to get involved. We go through a few things because we are government funded. Again, we're not for profit, but because we're government funded, we have to report back to the government what we're doing with their money. And so there's a little bit of paperwork involved, and we do get you engaged in a small amount of paperwork. Right now, we're doing that remotely with electronic documentation that you just execute and send back to us. And that way we satisfy and check off the little boxes with the government. But membership is a simple component. And once you're in, you have advantage of all the things that we have to offer.
Thank you. The last question we have is, are there any grants right now for women-owned small businesses?
Lots of them. There are grants everywhere. The question is, you have to qualify for them. You have to fill out the paperwork. You have to understand the details related to that. But here you go. Once again, there are fewer grants to help you get started than there are grants to help you grow. So get yourself up, get yourself going, and then start considering the opportunities for growth that come through possible grant money.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Our Career Connections, I do want to recap that our Career Connections are recorded so that you can watch the replay in case you missed any information. We will send the replay via email 24 to 48 hours after the webinar to all who registered, include flyers, PowerPoint presentation, links, and so much more. Many of our webinars and workshops can be found on our YouTube channel for replay. Just type Women's Resource Center in the search bar and be sure to subscribe. So we want to hear from you. When the webinar ends, a short survey will appear. Please take a few moments and fill out our survey, as we take your feedback very seriously and we want to hear from you. Thank you so much for attending our monthly Career Connections, and a special thank you to the presenters who shared with us some great information on how to get started, personal journeys to successful entrepreneurship.